Hey,
Good
Carla.
afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Doing pretty good. How's the little one?
He's doing good. He's actually downstairs doing school with his brothers and sisters, so he's starting early.
Your kids are homeschooled?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, good. And you best believe he's paying attention.
Oh yeah, 100%. My 2-year-old, she's down there with them as well too. So she's over here putting in full sentences and talking, and I'm like, okay, Missy, look
Mm.
at you, bro. Trying to be
No,
president of the United
yeah.
States.
A friend of mine's 3-year-old hacked into her because they're homeschooled. So she
Mm-hmm.
hacked into their account to get in because he wouldn't let her in. So she just hacked into their account. Now her cousin is 9 years old and she's
Oh wow.
3. And because she's paying attention to what they're learning in homeschool, she learned how to hack into their. I was like, oh my goodness. So you
What?
cannot let me in. She
That
just did
is
it.
amazing.
They didn't even know she was paying attention.
That is amazing. Yeah, they're like sponges at this age, which is, kind of like why we made that decision early, to kind of like homeschool.
Mhm.
Because we pulled out our oldest, what, in first grade, and then we're like, yeah, we're just gonna homeschool them.
Yeah.
So now he's in like technically third grade, and then the second oldest is in first, and then of course we got the toddler and the newborn.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine, she pulled her daughter out okay, she's fourth grade going to fifth grade because on her daughter's phone, they were sending porn, the kids in
Oh,
the school, and then the parents denied it.
oh no, yeah, that's
So she took
wild.
her out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be none of that going around over
Hmm.
here. So that's definitely the pros of it. Sweet. So I'm glad that we have a small. I always like kind of small, intimate crowds, and also Carl, I did reach out. You remember the guy that I was talking about, Sean?
Yeah.
So he actually agreed to come on next week. So we kind of like tentatively um, set the date for next week. So hopefully it solidifies like later on this week because he like responded back to me. And then yeah, we're just gonna go from there.
Well, I've been networking with realtors. I went to a networking function. It wasn't one of my favorites. As a matter of fact, it's one of my least favorites. Here's the thing though, because I feel like when you're drinking and playing loud music, you can't hear nothing what you're talking about. And then they're getting drunk, and it's like, okay, how's this conversation going to go? So what I did, I set up to the side, and I had never heard of this. It's a wholesale company called Profit House. Have you heard of them?
Mm-mm.
I never heard of them. And so I asked what it was about. When the guys came over and explained it to me, and I met two people there. One is a PML, uh, private money lender, and the other lady, she says she's looking for um, what are they called? Storage units.
Mm.
Because I told her I was a wholesaler, and they said, okay, they gave me their cards, they gave me their information. And so I went to another event where I liked, because I was able to talk with people and stuff like that. And there's a guy, I just started reaching out to him, and they said, well, I got a sub two deal. So I've had two realtors give me sub two deals. And even though I'm just getting a referral fee because I don't know how to do that yet, but
Mm-hmm.
Sean is going to be perfect for me right about now because it's mainly realtors that are contacting me and say, "Hey, I got this. Do you know anybody be interested?"
Nice.
And the other guy, he still hasn't come. I don't know. Well, our business partner, the one I'm working with, he's got the buyer. He said he's a nice guy. He's helping me, so he's gonna go
Mm.
over there because the guy he doesn't like dealing with women. So he's going to contact, yeah. So he's going to contact him. So, I'm still hanging in there. I met someone that needed private money lending, so I'm going to connect them. So, and then they're building homes. She's 22 years old. She's building homes. So,
That's a very big accomplishment right there.
yeah, she started as a wholesaler. So she's the one looking for private money and I get a fee from that. So hooking her up with that. So working on some stuff. I'm just keep keep moving, and not just look at one thing. Because I'm finding out. Just give them what they want when they call and ask them. I go get it, and then I'll learn from those experiences and keep going.
100%. Overall, how was your and this will also be an open discussion since we have a very small group. But overall, how was everyone's week last week? How did you guys end off the week last week, and what's some of the things that you guys will be doing in differently this week? It could
For
definitely be
me,
open ended. But go ahead, Carla.
okay, so for me, I'm going to keep calling. I'm still calling all the cards I collected and everything I met at the last two realtors groups.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm calling them and see, now that I see that this kind of thing can happen. I didn't know realtors come up with sub two. And the guy said also he has another client that may need to do a sub two to help them get out of their situation. So that's two. That one I told you about that was in Texas, the guy, he did sign the paperwork, so I get a referral fee for that once they get a buyer. And so I'm just gonna keep, just keep reaching out to the realtors. But I'm gonna do more, Derby would teach used to teach that, what does teach rather, you know, plot out your time, set up the time, what I'm gonna do for this, what I'm gonna do for that, like one day,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm gonna call realtors, I'm gonna do that and just start doing that because I'm kind of all over the place a little bit. So I believe I need to set aside specific time for specific things.
Oh yeah.
And yeah,
No, and I think also that's something that I've kind of been incorporating as well too, because life does have a tendency of pulling you in many different directions, right?
yeah,
I think one thing that we kind of got to all work on, myself included, is kind of like structuring the hierarchy of priorities for as far
yes.
as like, have you ever heard of the Eisenhower matrix?
No, let me write that down. You said Eisenhower matrix?
Yeah, let me pull it up. And I revisit this at least multiple times a year. Um,
Oh,
let me
okay.
share my screen because this will be a good topic. Uh, Give me 1 second. All right, can you see my screen? So pretty much the
Yes.
Eisenhower
Yeah.
matrix. This was
Mhm.
also referenced in a book called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Sean Covey. And it breaks down kind of like priorities based on quadrants. So you have important and urgent. Those are the stuff that have like clear deadlines, significant consequences if not completed in a timely fashion, right? And then you have obviously the important and not urgent stuff that can be scheduled, stuff that doesn't really have like any pressing deadlines, but they can, like it's highlighted right here, can also bring you closer to your long-term goals. And then of course the bottom half is just not important but urgent. You could delegate those things. Not important and not urgent, all obviously those things you just have to try to delete or alleviate yourself from as much as possible. So this has been like super super helpful. Oh, and the book is referenced right here, look at that. So this quadrant can also kind of help you categorize a lot of different things, not just tasks but just everything in general. So this is kind of like the baseline of what I try to use on a daily basis or as much as possible, which is why I revisit it multiple times a year. So this would be helpful for your car or anybody as well too, if you find value in this.
Okay, so quick question.
Hmm.
Do you use this for your business and personal?
Yes.
Because, oh, you do.
Yep.
Okay.
To the best of my ability. It's something that you're always going to have to kind of like strive to, um, I want to say perfect, you know what I mean? But you got to try to at least categorize things in these four different brackets as best as you can.
Yeah, because life been life in a lot for me, and trying to, you know, because now I begin to pick up a little more momentum on some things, trying some things, moving in a certain direction. And then
Hmm.
life is happening. I was sick for a week, then I got to try to get caught back up and trying to, just trying to make sense of all this. And I can see what this would help. So, for example, for your business, the urgent,
Hmm.
you have an urgent category for your business, and where is your personal urgent come into play? Do you have a separate, you know what I mean? A separate method or
Yeah.
something?
No, so like for example, you'll use the same concept for both business and personal, but the only
Hmm.
difference is you can maybe have one for business, one for personal. And like for example, something like personal is like, all right, paying bills. We all know like every month everybody got bills to pay at a certain date, certain time, or else somebody
Hmm.
come knocking on your door being like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
So depending on how your style is, like all of like the miscellaneous stuff, um, I like to just keep stuff on auto pay because I try to, at least now at this point of life that I'm in, my goal is try to minimize how many decisions I have to make on a day-to-day basis. Because I don't know about y'all, but
Yeah.
I could just speak from personal experience to your point, Carla, when life be lifing, is decision fatigue, right? Both in business and
Yes.
personal life can be very tiresome, very gruesome. So my goal, especially going into 2026, is to reduce the amount of decisions I have to make on a day-to-day basis as much as possible. So the way you will implement this into your personal life is figuring out like what is all the stuff that you need to like be very clear on that you need to accomplish in order to feel satisfied, right? And I was talking to someone about this. I think she just came in. Shout out to Amber. I'm the very type of person that, and this is something that I'm going to be working on, is if it's in the forefront of my mind, it has to get done so I don't think about it no more. But if something is like not finished or something is pending and I'm still thinking about it, it's going to irk me until it gets done, right? So this is why I try to lean on this as much as possible because it kind of gives you uh, an internal redirect on where your focus should be, if that makes sense. So anything that's like, okay, pressing, anything that's super, super urgent and important, you just need to do. And then everything else, you either need to schedule, delegate, or try to delete as much as possible. And depending on your background, I know like myself, sometimes I could have a little bit of like control. I got to make sure it gets done, right? Um, but this is
Francisco,
where this comes into play.
when we talk about the task of like acquisitions and getting new contracts, I mean, I've seen between now and 2 years ago, sellers are wanting retail or even more. It's not like it was 2 years ago. So that feeds into then the momentum, like
Yep.
and the fatigue. Like I'm like, oh God, like it's like I'm on a hamster wheel, like they're wanting more, and so there's no deals like there was, so that feeds into the momentum and then the fatigue. Like, how are you finding the market right now, and like how do you navigate through sellers wanting retail basically?
Yeah. So me, what I like to do is I like to pretty much go into negotiations offering two offers. Of course, I'm going to shoot my shot with like the wholesale price, but to your point, a lot of sellers are stuck in 2021 prices, right? So it makes it difficult to try to either make large margins or what they call, like margins that you'll be happy about. Like, man, I'm really happy that this deal is closing or has the potential to close, right? And then the second offer is pretty much setting their expectations as far as like, hey, if you want retail, we can maybe give you retail, but let's set the expectations of what you're going to sell for and what you're actually going to net, right? And what we've been pivoting to is, pitching retail offers. But I will tell you that alone comes with its own headache, right? And I don't know if you're familiar with the term, like some people call it novation, some people call it different things and stuff like that. But just essentially just having a marketing clause in your purchase agreements that states very clearly that the seller is giving you the authority to list it on the market and find a buyer that way, right? Now, some people execute this strategy differently, but that's been my answer to people having retail or desiring retail prices.
But that means that, like, I mean, you know, it's harder to sell the land when it's retail, right? Especially for builders.
For builders, yes. For retail people, not necessarily, because it's almost a point of you're going to have a lot of the same conversations with different sellers and different prospects, right? So like with the seller, if they're actually interested in selling, you have to be very candid with them and let them know, like, hey, the market's not moving the way you think it is, because if it was, this would have already been sold and we wouldn't be talking right now. So if the price that you were asking for is, and I'm saying this with all due respect, Mr. Seller, if the price that you were asking for was attractive, somebody would have jumped on this yesterday. But the reality of the situation is the market is not moving the way, you know, it used to. Now, if you're serious about selling, I can communicate a game plan that can put us on a trajectory to get to the closing table. But if you're stuck on your price over focusing on actually getting this done, we just have to have a serious conversation about, are we the best fit? I might not be the best fit for you.
Yeah.
So to your point, Dale, it is super hard to kind of like, it's going to be repetitive conversations with these sellers that want retail.
And do you, I mean, I remember even like 3-4 years ago, like sending blind offers, I know was a working strategy, but now I've heard that it's, you know, either just neutral letters or texting or cold calling rather, but not blind offers these days. When blinds were like that was just the best thing ever, just to get your mailbox full of all these signed contracts. But those days seem to be over.
100%. No, yeah, I agree with you, because I think the market has definitely corrected itself, right? Because the reality of the matter is deals still get done, but deals get done by two parties that have similar interest in getting it done, if that makes sense, right? Sellers are motivated. Some sellers are motivated, and then other buyers are. Right now, buyers have the cachet to kind of like take their time, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
Right. What market are you operating in right now?
California, was in North Carolina, was in Georgia, but not since they've changed the laws, and Hawaii as well.
Okay. What part of California were you doing?
Riverside, San Bernardino, those 2 counties.
Perfect. All right. So let me go ahead. And I also do market research as well, too, like for sellers that are open to having that conversation. And even in my communications, or even with my VAs or team members communication, I just been telling them, just be a lot more candid with them, right? Because it's, to your point, Dell, I think, and let me know if anybody else feels this frustration, is, you know, I have a hard time either beating around the bush or sugarcoating stuff. At least,
yeah, because there's not, just to get a signed contract doesn't mean we can like sell it, right? We want to be able to move it.
Exactly. So it's like what I've been telling the sellers, and even myself, logically speaking, right? Of course, signed contracts lead to closed deals, but in all reality, if you think about it, like good deals lead to
buildable. You know, I've had another really great property on paper, but it wasn't buildable.
Exactly.
Had a creek running through it.
Exactly. And then you just got to tell the seller, like, hey, builders may not want this because it's not buildable, but if you got time on your hands, I can't promise you this in a certain amount of time, but let's see if somebody wants it on an open market. There's a place in Okeechobee that I've sold lots in, and I was surprised because this is when I first started implementing this strategy. In Okeechobee, Florida, there's a place called the Perry, and it looks like Timbuktu up there. And people are buying lots left and right. And a lot of these lots aren't buildable for like new construction and new houses, but apparently people are putting mobile homes on them or something like that. Nice. So I will also kind of like, especially in those markets where I don't know about Riverside County too much, or Inland Empire. I think you said Inland Empire. Riverside
San
County,
Bernardino.
San Bernardino.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about that, but like let's just say like a market of North Carolina, South Carolina, especially Georgia. You have those metro areas of Georgia, and then you have the rural areas. Same thing in North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in my observation, selling to builders and selling to regular retail people, just posting it on the MLS, there's an ask for every seat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the seller has to be kind of like on board, because even if we get the sellers to agree on price, they also have to agree on timeline. And I've been very straightforward with sellers, like, hey, listen, if this is the route that you want to go in order to sell this, these are the things that are going to come along with it, and these are the expectations I want to make sure you're clear on before we move forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
So
I don't
longer
I
time
haven't
frame with a higher price, shorter time frame, lower price.
that's cut and dry. They want to keep it that simple.
Yeah.
Basically, I have a seller now that was like pressing for a 21-day closing, and you've been holding it for 15 years.
Mm.
This is not happening overnight, sweetheart. I'm sorry
Yeah.
to tell you.
Yeah.
So like,
Title company work as well. Yeah.
so it's a buildable lot. But even the feedback that I've been getting from like the builders in the area, one is zone commercial, two, like this particular area in Florida, Cape Coral. I'm pretty sure you guys, all of you should know where Cape Coral's at.
Yeah.
The guy was saying like it's super saturated with houses. It took him 9-10 months, almost a year, to sell his new build.
Mm.
So he was like, yeah, the new construction market there, in his opinion, this is his words, not mine, trash, he feels like. So he was like, if I was to buy this, this is not even selling for the next 2 years if I'm lucky.
Wow.
Because there's just so much inventory, right? And then I think also a part that we have to kind of understand when dealing with sellers is a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are just uneducated. You know, they take people contacting them or them getting marketing materials. They think that equates to I deserve a higher price.
You know what? You just hit something. That must be going on with that guy with the duplex I told you about, where he wants 150K, and it's almost a tear down, but he says because it's a couple of blocks from the mall, he should get that price. And the mall has nothing to do with it. So he's uneducated. I thought he was more educated than that, but you made a point. I need to educate him. I did say, but that's for businesses. Now, traffic, if you were putting a business in there, yeah, you would look at the traffic of the mall, but not when it comes to a value of a home. But
No,
he keeps insisting. He keeps insisting. It's near a mall. It's going to sell. No, it's not.
Yeah, that means
yeah.
ridiculous squat, Mr. Seller. Sorry to tell you.
Yeah, because he hasn't put any work in it since the 80s. He bought it in the 80s, and he hasn't put any work in these roof and all the doors in the house inside and out need to be replaced. And on one bedroom, it doesn't even have a door. So that's the kind of, the ceiling, it's got the popcorn, all this stuff. And he thinks because he lives in it like that somebody else will want it like that, is my thing. I think that's how he feels. Because he kept saying, well, I don't use an HVAC. I don't have an HVAC because he used the window ACs. But he's not understanding that not everybody wants that. Just because so you made a good point. I took that note down.
Oh, yeah. And also real quick, to Dell's point, I just looked at some stats in San Bernardino. In the last 90 days, there's been, was this area impacted by the fires, Dell?
No, not at all.
Oh, no? Okay.
It's on the way to, it's like on the way, it's in between Vegas, basically. On the way to Vegas.
Okay. So, and this is some, I don't know if you have access to Land Portal, or I'm pretty sure you can still find this on Zillow as well too. 401 acres. So in the infield lot space, 403 lots went up for sale in the last 90 days. Only 188 of them sold.
One of them was mine. Ah, but yeah. Yeah.
You said one of them was yours?
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. So that's way too much. Not enough demand, obviously.
Yeah, it's you got a 46% chance of
Yeah.
46% of properties are selling in 90 days.
Yeah. Wow.
Months of supply.
Can I see
Yeah.
your screen? I remember you showed me that
Mhm.
that it takes a year to sell. I remember I got up at 4 a.m. one day for your class in Australia, and I remember seeing it.
San
That's it.
Bernardino. This is the months of the supply, but this I'm looking at counts right here, and then you can just toggle back and forth from for sale to sold. And then you can see 403 for sale, which is a lot. That's
Yeah.
188. So, and then you can also, it gives you kind of like a table, and you can kind of see the average price range and stuff like that. And even if you price stuff right, I mean, I think it's still much of a waiting game, because even if you go to months of supply, this pretty much tells you like if everyone stopped buying and selling, this is how much supply is left in the market, or how long it would take to sell the remaining active supply. So that 403 will probably take 6 months to sell, or close to 7 months.
Yeah. Wow.
And then 1 to 2 acres, look, you got 10 months of supply.
Yeah, buyer's market for sure.
100%. I think, Amber, correct me if I'm wrong. Anything over 6 months is a buyer's market, right? Or is it 3?
Yeah. Wait, you're talking about the inventory?
Yeah, months of supply and inventory.
Yeah, if it is over, well, it depends. It depends. Usually 6 months, yes.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Anything over 6 months, yeah, buyer's market.
Great. Thanks for that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Which is
Won't be sending more mail there for a while.
yeah, 100%. And I think also another and you said mail. What do you primary focus on when you're sending marketing?
I am a fan of neutral letters.
Okay.
I do not like cold calling. I don't like. I've been mentioned in past. I had the sheriff threatened on me and all sorts. So I just don't like getting on the phone.
What?
Yeah.
Like someone called the sheriff on
No,
you?
threatened because I sent them the neutral letter, and she was just, crazy lady. But so no, I like just letters. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Somebody took the time out today to threaten you just because
Yep.
you sent it. The world will never surprise me.
No, no.
Wow, that's crazy. All right. Anyone else want to share anything that they're currently working on or need some clarification on? Or just anyone to share anybody and just any wins in general?
A question on the market research. When you do your market research, are you only using Land Portal, or are you using several tools to look at the area? Like if I wanted to go into an area, right?
Mhm.
And what tools, free or low cost, could I use, to do that market research?
Yep. So if you wanted to, you could literally just go on Zillow, and then let's say I'm gonna just use, I'm gonna use my backyard for example, but this could be, universal as well. If you want to just look at land, you just filter out for land, of course. And then, of course, on Zillow, you can draw a perimeter in a certain area. And then you could see like, okay, these are how many we have for sale, 636, right? And then if we just change the sold, you could see 2,258. And what you want to do is you want to go in a market where you see in a certain time period that more properties have sold than are currently for sale.
So where do you find that time? That's where I couldn't, because with my eyesight, I gotta try to get things done a certain way. So where do you get
the time frame?
yeah.
So under the more filter right here,
Mm-hmm.
you just do more, and then days on Zillow, and then you can just do last 30 days, 60, 90 days,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just filter it out from there. So from here, 259 in the last 90 days, 162 in the last 90 days. If it's not like, it doesn't have to be, and what I want to make sure I'm communicating is, the sold doesn't have to be extremely over the, for sale count. But as long as it's close to it or a little bit above it, that's how you know that the demand is exceeding the supply.
Okay, so that last example, wasn't it more? Okay, that was for sale was 259. Okay. And then how many sold?
162.
Oh, okay.
So this means that if it's for sale is the supply, sold is the demand.
Okay.
So in this particular example, the for sale, the supply supersedes the demand, which is
Okay.
not necessarily like, again, super, super bad because it's 162. And then you just divide those two numbers to get what your percentage is at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think overall, what I've been hearing from, a couple of colleagues that are doing, like real estate all over the country is overall, I think I've been hearing that it's a buyer's market. And then I think that's just an adjustment that we have to kind of get used to. But let me go ahead. Al, you put something in the chat. You got this deal. This seller wants to sell.
Yes, sir. I gave an offer of 150. He wanted 180. We trying to agree on 160. The builder is like at 170. It's right outside San Antonio.
It's not pulling up on Land Portal for me. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Do you have the parcel ID?
Sure, I can get it for you. 1 second.
Perfect. I just have it. And this is in Texas. What county is this in Texas?
Second, I was looking at my notes. I believe it's Floresville.
Let me see. Wilson County.
Wilson, okay. Yeah, Wilson County. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Wilson. Perfect. And then, all right. So, what do you need help with on this particular one? Though you said the builder.
Oh, I was just throwing it in the chat. I didn't really need any help. I was just throwing it in the chat.
Oh, okay. For like
Well,
market
can we do
research.
a market research to show me how you, what you do? What you would do? Let's see what the market's like there for buyers.
Okay. I'm gonna do it by zip code.
You know, they're saying with the population of San Antonio growing, everything is moving toward that area.
My land portal is moving kind of slow. So let's move over to Zillow if it doesn't work. And essentially what you'll do it on a free platform is you'll just pull up the zip code. And then it looks like it's right a little bit right outside the metro of San Antonio. And then what you will do is you'll just simply go to home type, make sure you're clicking on land. And then I try to do as recent as possible. But if you don't have enough results, you could go up to 6 months or even 12 months. But I wouldn't consider anything past 12 months. And of course, on Zillow, I forgot Texas is a non-disclosure state, so you won't be able to necessarily see, the prices of stuff that sold. However, what you can see is you could see how many sold. You won't see the prices of them, but you can see 55 done sold in the last year. 104 of them are up for sale.
Okay, so because I'm in Texas, so then I would need to use Land Portal to do a market research.
So you can also do like, let's say Realtor. I think Realtor got a really good app. Or what's even a good one? Landglide is pretty cheap or free. Let's do like Realtor.
Francisco, I try to base my prices on the tax assessment. If I can get them down toward the tax assessment price.
I've heard people do that. Me personally, I think it just depends on the area and then also the willingness of the seller to accept that. You know what I mean? And then is it a 5-acre lot, the one you have?
Yes, sir. 5 acre.
Oh, okay, perfect. So, I mean, the fact that they're willing to come down and they have it listed, I mean, that's a
been on the market almost a year now.
Oh,
there you go. That tells you all you need to know right there. I mean, it looks very nice. It looks very positioned. You know what I mean? It looks very ideal. It just, the only thing that's stopping them is the fact that they're just way unrealistic on price. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this right here is a perfect example of, sellers not, to Dale's point earlier, sellers not being aware of market sentiment. You know what I mean? So to your point, Carla, in order to kind of like maybe underwrite this as far as like as free as possible without using any like paid softwares or anything like that, Landglide is super, super cheap. And I think they give you like a free 7 days or whatever. How much is their price? $99, $10 a month.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I use. I use Landglide.
Yeah,
you get that? Yeah.
And then it's very similar to like Land Portal, and then you could just use some people. I used to have a friend I used to mess with her. She used to do driving for dollars, and then she literally, I don't know, she just enjoyed doing this. She used to drive for dollars and then just go around and then hand pick all the lots that she wanted to send mailers or text to. And then you can export it as well too. But Landglide is also another free tool, and I do not free but cheap tool. And I do believe they have like the filters of, and Al, correct me if I'm wrong, wetlands and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. They got all that.
Hmm.
Also show you
Oh.
the tax assessment as well.
Perfect.
It does?
Yes, ma'am.
Sadia said Regrid is good too. Regrid is super good. And Joy also said Land Insights. I've been hearing a lot about Land Insights. A lot. Matter of fact, I've been hearing about them because they've been calling me. I'm like, I'm not interested right now. I didn't know it was free though, Joy. I thought they charged.
No, they have a free portion which has like you can look up stuff, but then they also have a paid version that has a lot more information if you go for the paid version.
Yeah, this Land Insights, and I think it's like a Chrome extension, right?
Say that again?
It's like a Chrome extension.
Yes, you can add a Chrome extension and it will do. Again, I'm still trying to play around with it. I've only played around with it once or twice. But I find that it's a little easier than the Lamb portal for a free version. Now,
Yeah.
again, once you want to start adding more information, you pay. They have a paid subscription. They have a $50 version. They have a $500 version. The $500 version gives they score it with like AI generated like information to tell you whether it's a good market, bad, like a lot of information.
What?
Yeah, it's a pretty decent portal.
All right, I'm gonna try this. Let's start for free. Hopefully they don't blow my phone up again. Joy got me to sign up. I'm gonna Joy, if they call me, I'm gonna tell them to call you.
All right, send them my way. I like what's it, Sumner? Sumner is his name, is the owner.
Yeah. I think he also like does coaching in the land space as well too, right?
Yeah, but I don't have 10 G's for him.
Oh yeah, you know, damn. Boy, taxing. Sweet. But yeah, these are really some good. The Regrid is too good too. Like Sadia mentioned in the chat, Carla. And then that can also just kind of help you, like, you know. And I think also another thing that I've been learning too with underwriting some deals is a lot of the stuff that that is most valuable to the primary buyer that we sell to is which is builders, is contacting either planning or zoning or contacting the utility department to find out if it has like city water, city sewer, stuff like that, just in case the builder asks you for that information. Just contact planning and zoning ahead of time, so you have all of that readily available.
So what you would do is, when you're contacting planning and or the utility company, you just give them the parcel number and they can look it up by that, or what, is that how that works?
Yes, that you can either give them a parcel number, address, and then, or sometimes like that, some counties have it to where you just have to call and get that information. And then other counties have it to where they give you like a map or some type of resource that tells you what can and can't be done.
I
Oh,
also use Parcel Review for that. So it's like $30 per report, but it takes 5 days or so if you have that turnaround time. But they provide, you know, GIS maps, all the phone numbers, all the zoning, utilities, everything. So
What was that app called?
no, it's a website, parcelreview.com.
Parcelreview.com.
Very much worth it.
Oh, on the website said due to higher volume of requests, report turnaround time is currently 7 business days. Dang, hey, phone line is jumping.
But they provide a 3-page, it's in a PDF, it's in an Excel, so you can cut and paste and, you know, send to builders everything that they want with phone numbers, with, you know, boundary lines, everything.
Oh, wow.
oh, now you're talking. I like that.
Yeah.
report credits may be used to do diligence. Oh wow. Who runs this platform? I've never heard of this. This is nice.
No idea.
Oh wow. Acquisition managers program includes up to 20 hours. Oh wow. $20 off report package. Oh. This is fancy.
Yeah. And they always have specials up leading up to a holiday, like, you know, not Valentine's, like Thanksgiving, they'll have a promotion, you know, to buy a bundle of 5, 10, 20 reports. But they're very good.
Wow,
So,
and they do their
So Dale, you're using that for when you have the
Due
large
diligence, yeah.
parcels?
Minute I get a signed contract, I'll email them straight away. So because I know it's used to be 3 days, I didn't know it was now 7, but for the due diligence. So instead of me getting on the phone and calling counties, they get on the phone and call counties.
wow.
Works
that
for
is
me.
low key. Oh, and I'm looking at their sample stuff. They got zoning information.
Yeah. And they provide different angles. I mean, it's Google images. It's not obviously sending someone there, but you get an idea of what the property is.
I'm gonna start this. This is a good resource.
Very, very good.
And then have you ever like presented this to like any buyers and they kind of was like, oh, thank you for this? Or...
Yeah, no, I cut and paste. One of the things that they attach in, you know, the link that you get is an Excel spreadsheet. So I'll like take out the cells that I want to put in an email to all the sellers. Doesn't, you know, just sellers off Facebook or whatever, but you tailor, you know, you can, because it's an Excel, you can tailor what you want to provide. And they have like, you know, what's near the property, all the links, all the phone numbers. So you tell the buyer to call this number at the county for them to do their own due diligence. Like, this is what I know, but you also have to do your own due diligence.
Kind of got to like verify the info.
Yeah.
Minimum requirements. Oh, wow. This is amazing. Thank you for this, Def.
Absolutely.
Sweet. Anybody else got any questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Yes, what's the best way to reach out to you outside of here?
Yeah, let me go ahead and put my email in the chat. Give me 1 second. Then you can send me an email and then I can go ahead and answer your questions and make sure I get back to you. Another thing, guys, I want to let you guys know, for those of you guys who came in late, next week, hopefully, fingers crossed, once he confirms, the gentleman that I was speaking about that does a lot of volume just on agent outreach, he did confirm that he was interested. He was open to coming in and talking to us. So he's going to hopefully be our guest next week, and he's going to, you know, talk about how he does agent outreach. Because he has a team of 4 that helps him, and then all he does is agent outreach and dispositions, and that's how he gets his deals. Now, granted, just as a disclosure, he is in the house space, but I do believe that we could take some of the things that he's done to be successful, and apply that to land as well too. Awesome. So yeah, sweet. All right, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up for today. Thank you guys so much for coming on. We're gonna send, once Sean confirms, we'll send an email about it. So hopefully we have some more people that can come and learn value from Sean as well, and also learn a different perspective. But have a good rest of your week, and I will see you guys next week.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Awesome, friends.
Thanks, guys. Great. Another great one.
Yes, ma'am.